If you are waiting for applause before you start, you will never move a single step because the world does not clap for dreams it cannot yet see. And the first painful truth you must accept is this: no one is your friend when you are building something that does not yet exist. When you decide to change your life, when you decide to walk a path no one around you understands, you suddenly realize how lonely ambition really is. People smile, people nod, people say good luck, but inside they doubt you, they question you, and many are secretly waiting for you to fail so they can feel comfortable staying where they are. Most people misunderstand loneliness. They think loneliness means you have no one around you. That is not true. Loneliness is when you are surrounded by people who do not believe in what you believe, who cannot see what you see, and who do not feel a fire burning inside your chest every single day. When you start building, you begin to see faces change. Friends become silent. Relatives give advice you never asked for. Some people disappear without explanation. This is not betrayal. This is reality. Your vision is too heavy for people who are not meant to carry it. The biggest mistake young dreamers make is expecting emotional support from people who have never walked their road. They want encouragement from those who live safely inside comfort. But comfort does not create builders. Comfort creates spectators. Spectators love to talk, love to comment, love to judge, but they never step into the arena. When you start something new, you enter an arena alone. No crowd, no cheering, no spotlight, just you, your doubts, and your discipline. Building in silence is not about hiding. It is about protecting your energy. Every time you explain your dream to the wrong person, you lose a piece of belief. They may not intend to hurt you, but their fears leak into your mind. They tell you what is impossible based on their limits, not yours. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Trees grow quietly. Thunder makes noise but does not grow. In the early days, no one understands why you work so hard with no guarantee. They ask why you wake up early, why you sleep late, why you refuse invitations, why you say no to comfort. They think you are crazy. They think you are wasting time. They see only sacrifice, not the future you are building. You cannot expect them to understand something you have not yet built. When you are poor, people ignore you. When you try, people doubt you. When you fail, people laugh at you. And when you succeed, people say they always believed in you. This is the order of life. Do not be angry at it. Do not fight it. Accept it and use it. If everyone supported you from the beginning, your character would be weak. Pressure creates strength. Loneliness creates clarity. No one tells you that growth hurts. No one tells you that becoming better means losing people. You outgrow conversations. You outgrow habits. You outgrow places. And when you outgrow people, they feel uncomfortable. Instead of growing with you, they try to pull you back to where they feel safe. This is why you must build quietly. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your becoming. You must understand something very important. Most people love the idea of success, but they hate the process. They love results, but they hate struggle. They love winners, but they never support beginners. When you are starting, you are invisible, and invisibility is a gift. When no one is watching, you can fail without shame, learn without judgment, and improve without noise. Silence teaches you discipline. When no one is cheering, you learn to clap for yourself. When no one is supporting you, you learn to support your own spirit. This is where real confidence is born. Not from likes, not from praise, but from keeping promises to yourself when nobody else knows what you are doing. You think friends will stand with you when you are tired, but most disappear when the journey becomes uncomfortable. They are not bad people. They simply chose a different life. They chose safety. You chose uncertainty, and uncertainty requires courage most. People do not have. So stop expecting them to understand your choices. Instead, respect their path and walk yours quietly. When you build in silence, you begin to hear your own voice more clearly. You stop being distracted by opinions. You stop chasing approval. You stop explaining. Explanation is a form of seeking permission, and builders do not ask for permission. They ask themselves one question every day: did I improve today? Failure becomes your teacher, not your enemy. When you fail in silence, you learn faster. There is no audience to impress, no image to protect. You can be honest with yourself. You can admit mistakes. You can adapt. Loud people hide failure. Silent builders learn from it. People love to give advice when they have no risk. They tell you what you should do with your life as if they are experts, but they never invest their own time, money, or reputation. When you build quietly, you filter out noise. You focus on what matters. You work on skills instead of stories. At first, you will feel hurt. You will ask yourself why no one supports you, why no one believes, why no one shows up. But one day, you will realize that this loneliness shaped you. It made you stronger. It made you independent. It made you resilient. You stopped depending on external validation and started trusting internal conviction. The world rewards results, not intentions. No one pays you for dreams. They pay you for value. While others are busy talking about ideas, you must be busy executing. Talking creates illusion. Execution creates reality. Silence forces you to execute because words are no longer enough. You must learn to smile and say nothing. Let people misunderstand you. Let them underestimate you. Let them doubt you. Underestimation is a powerful advantage. When people think you cannot do it, they do not block you. They do not compete with you. They leave you space to grow. In silence, you will face yourself, your laziness, your fear, your excuses. There is no one to blame. This is uncomfortable but necessary. Growth begins when excuses end. Silence removes distractions and exposes truth. One day, results will speak. And when they do, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. They will ask for advice. They will say you are lucky. They will forget the nights you worked alone, the sacrifices you made, the tears you wiped in private. Do not be bitter. This is how life works. Remember, you are not building to impress people. You are building to create freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of choice, freedom of mind. And freedom is expensive. It costs comfort. It costs relationships. It costs approval. But it is worth every price. Do not announce your next move. Do not seek validation. Do not complain about being lonely. Use that loneliness. Let it sharpen you. Let it focus you. Let it turn you into someone so capable that when you finally stand in the light, no one can question how you got there. There will be moments when you wan. T to quit. Moments when silence feels heavy. Moments when you wish someone would just say, I believe in you. In those moments, become that voice for yourself. Because if you cannot believe in yourself when no one else does, you are not ready for success. Building in silence does not mean you hate people. It means you respect your vision enough to protect it. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Some people only want to watch, not help. Some want to benefit, not contribute. Choose carefully who you share your journey with. Your future is built on what you do when no one is watching. The discipline you practice in private determines the life you live in public. Small actions repeated daily create massive outcomes over time. And those small actions require no audience. When you finally succeed, it will feel quiet inside. No anger, no need to prove anything, just calm, because you already proved everything to yourself long ago in silence when no one cared, when no one believed, when no one stood beside you, and you kept going anyway. There is a season in every meaningful life where faith replaces evidence. You work, you sweat, you sacrifice, yet nothing on the surface changes. This is the season most people abandon their calling. They need proof before commitment. But truth has always worked the opposite way. First comes belief, then obedience, and only later does the reward appear. The seed never sees the harvest, yet it still breaks the soil. When you build in islands, you learn to move without signs, to walk without applause, to trust a promise you cannot yet touch. In those quiet moments, you begin to understand that strength is not loud. Real power whispers. The strongest people you will ever meet are calm, focused, and patient because they have fought their biggest battles alone. They know what it feels like to carry hope while the world carries doubt. They know what it means to keep showing up when motivation disappears and only discipline remains. This discipline becomes your shield when emotions fail you. There is a sacred separation that happens when you choose growth. Old patterns fall away. Old comforts lose their sweetness. You start craving meaning over entertainment, progress over pleasure. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are not better than others. You are simply becoming different. Difference always creates distance before it creates impact. You will notice that silence makes your prayers deeper, your thoughts clearer, and your intentions purer. When no one is watching, your character is revealed. Integrity is built when shortcuts are available but refused. Many people want blessings, but they avoid preparation. Yet every lasting reward is preceded by unseen labor. The world celebrates outcomes, but life honors process. At times, you may feel tempted to announce your progress just to feel less alone. Resist that urge. What grows fastest in darkness often survives longest in the light. Early exposure. E invites unnecessary opinions, distractions, and pressure. Let your work mature. Let your roots deepen. Even faith teaches that timing matters, that fruit appears in its own season, not when impatience demands it. When betrayal happens, and it will, do not let it harden you. Let it refine you. Pain has a strange way of revealing truth. It shows you who is aligned with your purpose and who was only present for convenience. This knowledge, though painful, is a gift. It saves you time. It sharpens your focus. It teaches you to rely less on people and more on principles. You are not meant to be understood at the beginning. History has never been kind to pioneers while they were building. Understanding comes later, often too late for those who doubt it. If you need understanding to continue, you will stop. If you need validation to persist, you will quit. But if you anchor yourself in purpose, misunderstanding becomes irrelevant. There is a quiet confidence that grows when you keep promises to yourself. Each day you do the work without recognition. Something inside you stands taller. You stop fearing rejection because you are no longer seeking acceptance. You stop comparing because you are no longer competing. Comparison disappears when you are consumed by your own mission. The world teaches you to measure success by noise, speed, and attention. But wisdom teaches patience, depth, and consistency. A river does not rush, yet it shapes stone. A candle does not shout, yet it removes. There's darkness. Silent progress compounds, while loud ambition often burns out. You may wonder why the path feels harder for you than for others. It is because you are being trained, not entertained. Easy roads do not build endurance. Comfort does not produce courage. You are being prepared for responsibility, for influence, for weight. And weight requires strength that can only be forged under pressure. There will be moments when you question your worth, because the world has not yet recognized your value. Remember this truth. Value exists before recognition. Gold is valuable even when buried. Your work matters even when unseen. Keep going. Consistency is a form of faith in action. As you continue in silence, you will notice a shift. You no longer need to explain yourself. You no longer need to defend your choices. Peace replaces urgency. Focus replaces frustration. You start measuring days by progress, not praise. This is maturity. People will eventually hear about you, but they will not hear about the nights you doubted yourself and still showed up. They will not hear about the moments you chose discipline over desire. They will only see the result and assume it was sudden. Let them. You know the truth. And the truth has shaped you into someone who no longer needs to be seen to feel significant. There is a higher law at work, one that rewards sincerity over spectacle. What is done faithfully in secret carries power in public. Life has a way of balancing scales. Every tear, every effort, every sacrifice is accounted for, even when no human acknowledges it. This is why you can remain calm. This is why you can remain silent. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are being built. The silence is not punishment. It is preparation. Stay committed. Stay humble. Stay focused. And keep moving forward, even if the only witness to your progress is the person you are becoming. There comes a point where silence stops feeling empty and starts feeling full of intention, full of direction, full of quiet confidence that no external noise can shake. You realize that what once felt like isolation has actually been alignment all along. You were being removed from distractions so you could hear guidance more clearly. When the crowd disappears, purpose becomes louder. You begin to understand that delays are not denials. They are shaping tools. Life does not rush what must last. The waiting season teaches patience, and patience teaches mastery. Anyone can start fast, but only those trained in stillness know how to endure. The unseen work you do today becomes the backbone of your tomorrow. Nothing is wasted, not even the waiting. In silence, you stop negotiating with fear. Fear loses power when it has no audience. You face it directly, not dramatically, but steadily. You learn that courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to obey it. Every day you move forward quietly, fear shrinks a little more, until one day you realize it no longer controls your decisions. You also begin to notice how much strength comes from restraint. You do not react to every comment. You do not explain every choice. You do not respond to every challenge. Restraint preserves energy, and energy, when focused, becomes momentum. This is how builders outlast critics, not by arguing, but by advancing. There is a spiritual discipline in doing the right thing when no reward is immediate. It teaches you to trust a law higher than applause, a law that says effort planted in truth will return in abundance. You may not see the connection now, but one day you will look back and realize every quiet act of obedience led you exactly where you needed to be. As you grow, your definition of success changes. It is no longer about proving others wrong, but about becoming whole. It is about alignment between who you are and what you do. When your actions match your values, peace follows. And peace is a level of success many never reach, no matter how loud their achievements. You will find yourself less interested in being admired and more interested in being effective, less focused on recognition and more focused on impact. This shift is powerful. It means ego is no longer driving you. Purpose is. And purpose has endurance that ego will never have. Some days will still feel heavy. Silence does not mean ease, but heaviness does not mean failure. It often means growth is taking place beneath the surface. Muscles ache when they are strengthening. Minds stretched ache when they are learning. Souls feel pressure when they are being refined. You will encounter moments where shortcuts appear tempting, faster routes, easier gains, louder paths. But your time in silence has trained you to value depth over speed. You know that what comes too quickly often leaves just as fast. You choose the narrow path, not because it is popular, but because it is solid. Gradually, you notice something else changing. You become dependable to yourself. You say you will do something, and you do it. This builds an internal trust that no external praise can replace. Self-trust becomes your foundation. With it, you stop seeking permission to grow. People may still misunderstand you, but now it no longer disturbs your peace. You have learned that misunderstanding is often a sign you are moving beyond familiar boundaries. If everyone understands you, you are probably not going far enough. Growth always creates discomfort before it creates admiration. In quiet dedication, your intuition sharpens. You sense when to move and when to wait, when to push and when to pause. This discernment is earned, not learned. It comes from walking alone long enough to recognize the difference between impulse and insight. Your story will one day encourage others, not because you spoke loudly about your struggles, but because you lived faithfully through them. People do not draw strength from perfection. They draw strength from perseverance. And perseverance is born in silence. You stop asking why the journey is hard and start asking who you are becoming because of it. This question changes everything. Hardship is no longer an obstacle. It is a classroom. Every challenge teaches you something about resilience, humility, and focus. Eventually, doors begin to open, not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily. Opportunities align with readiness. Responsibility matches capacity. When success arrives, it does not overwhelm you because silence prepared you to carry it. You will notice that when recognition comes, it feels lighter than you imagined, because by then, you no longer need it. You have already learned the most important lesson. Your worth was never dependent on who supported you, who stayed, or who believed. It was forged in the quiet moments when you chose to continue without witnesses. So keep building when no one claps. Keep believing when no one agrees. Keep moving when no one notices. The silence is not empty. It is alive with preparation, discipline, and unseen favor. And every step you take in faith, even when the road feels lonely, is shaping a future that will one day speak for itself. There is a moment when you realize that silence has given you something rare, the ability to stand firm without needing to be loud. You no longer rush to prove yourself because your roots are deep. Wind does not frighten a tree that knows where it is planted. You have learned to stay grounded while everything around you shifts, and this steadiness owns your quiet authority. You begin to see that opposition was never meant to stop you, only to shape you. Resistance reveals commitment. Anyone can move forward when the path is smooth, but only those with conviction continue when the road pushes back. Every closed door trained you to knock differently, to build alternatives, to think beyond limitations. What once felt like rejection now feels like redirection. In this season, you stop asking for fairness and start focusing on faithfulness. Life was never promised to be equal, only meaningful. You give your best not because the world is watching, but because excellence has become your standard. This is how character is formed, choosing integrity when compromise would be easier, choosing effort when excuses would be accepted. You discover that silence also protects your compassion. Loud success often hardens people. Quiet growth softens them. You remember where you came from. You remember the struggle. And instead of looking down on others, you learn to lift them when the time is right. Humility keeps your success human. There is wisdom in understanding that not every battle deserves your response. Some conflicts are distractions dressed as importance. You learn to conserve your energy for what truly matters. Focus becomes your discipline, and discipline becomes your freedom. When your attention is intentional, progress becomes inevitable. Your relationship with time changes. You stop chasing urgency and start honoring consistency. You realize that rushing often leads to rebuilding, while patience leads to permanence. Day by day, small actions align with a long-term vision. This is how foundations are laid, quietly, steadily, without spectacle. You begin to trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. This belief removes desperation from your decisions. You no longer grab at opportunities out of fear. You evaluate them with clarity. You choose alignment over impulse. And this discernment saves you from paths that look promising but lead nowhere. In silence, gratitude deepens. You appreciate progress that once felt insignificant. You notice strength where there was once doubt. Gratitude keeps you grounded and protects you from arrogance. It reminds you that everything you have built was supported by lessons you did not ask for but needed. You also learn to forgive, not because people deserve it, but because carrying bitterness slows you down. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is releasing weight. And builders cannot afford unnecessary weight. Lightness of heart allows you to move faster, think clearer, and lead better. As your journey continues, you notice that influence begins to grow naturally. People are drawn to consistency more than charisma. They trust results more than promises. Without announcing yourself, you become an example. Without preaching, your life teaches. This is the quiet power of alignment. You understand now that success is not an event, but a responsible. Iti. The more you are given, the more you are required to steward wisely. Silence trained you for this. It taught you patience, empathy, and restraint. Qualities that money cannot buy and applause cannot teach. Even now, you continue to build as if no one is watching, because habits formed in obscurity do not disappear in visibility. You stay disciplined, you stay curious, you stay humble. Growth does not stop when goals are reached, it evolves. The silence that once tested you has now become your sanctuary. It is where you think clearly, decide wisely, and reset your direction. In a noisy world, this inner stillness becomes your advantage. You are no longer reactive, you are intentional. And so you keep moving forward, not chasing recognition, not demanding understanding, but honoring the quiet work that shaped you. Step by step, choice by choice, you continue building what was entrusted to you, knowing that the strongest structures are raised away from the crowd, strengthened by patience, guided by faith, and carried forward by unwavering resolve. You start to notice that silence has trained your patience in a way nothing else could. Patience not as passive waiting, but as active endurance. You keep moving even when progress feels slow. You keep believing even when answers delay. This kind of patience is powerful because it is rooted in trust, not desperation. It understands that timing is not accidental and that arriving too early can be as dangerous as arriving too late. T. You realize that many people quit not because they are incapable, but because they grow tired of being unseen. They confuse visibility with value. But you have learned that the most important work happens away from the spotlight. Just as foundations are buried before buildings rise, your unseen effort is holding up everything that will one day stand tall. In this quiet journey, your inner dialogue changes. You stop speaking harshly to yourself. You stop measuring your worth by outcomes alone. You begin to respect effort, discipline, and intention. This inner kindness does not make you soft. It makes you sustainable. You can go farther because you are no longer fighting yourself. You begin to understand that life tests commitment before it grants responsibility. If you cannot be trusted with small tasks in silence, you cannot be trusted with larger ones in visibility. So you treat every small duty with seriousness. Every ordinary day becomes training for something greater. Faithfulness in little things prepares you for much. There is also a deeper awareness that forms within you. You sense that you are part of something larger than personal success. Your work is no longer just about achievement, but about contribution. You start asking how your growth can serve, how your strength can support, how your journey can create paths for others. Purpose expands when it moves beyond self. You notice that ego fades when purpose grows. You no longer need to win every argument or be right in every discussion. Peace becomes more valuable than pride. You choose understanding over dominance, listening over proving. This maturity allows you to build bridges instead of walls. At times, silence will ask you difficult questions. Who are you when nothing is happening? Who are you when no one is praising you? Who are you when progress is invisible? These questions refine you. They strip away performance and leave behind authenticity. What remains is real. You learn to trust the process even when it contradicts your expectations. Some answers come differently than you imagined. Some doors open sideways instead of forward. Silence helps you recognize opportunity in unexpected forms. It teaches flexibility without compromise. Your emotional strength deepens. You feel disappointment without collapsing. You face setbacks without surrendering direction. You celebrate small victories without arrogance. Emotional balance becomes one of your greatest assets. It allows you to lead yourself before leading anything else. Gradually, your presence changes. You speak less, but with more weight. You move calmly, even under pressure. Others may not know your story, but they feel your stability. This is influence that does not demand attention, yet earns respect. You understand now that no one being your friend was never a curse. It was a season of purification. It removed dependency. It strengthened resolve. It clarified intention. It taught you how to stand alone so that later you could stand for something meaningful. And even as momentum builds, you remain cautious of noise. You guard your time. You guard your focus. You guard your values because you know how easily distraction can undo discipline. Silence remains your anchor, not because you fear people, but because you respect the work still unfolding. You continue forward with quiet certainty, aware that the journey is not finished, that growth is ongoing, that lessons will keep coming. But now you walk with steadiness, with clarity, with a faith that has been tested in isolation and proven reliable in uncertainty, carrying within you the calm assurance that what is being built does not need approval to exist, only consistency to endure.